This is a teardown of a DISH311 satellite TV tuner box. And let's see here, number 1 Phillips from the looks of it. Probably would have been a good one for the drill. I did preemptively take the nuts off of the coax connectors to save time, since those are a bit of a pain usually. Just not having a flat front sure makes it hard to remove the screws like this. Cover off. It is nice that they made these power cords somewhat serviceable, although I'm not sure how to remove the strain relief at this second. Weird. Oh, there's a locking mechanism here. I'm not 100% certain how it comes out. I think it rotates. Nope. Maybe it slides? No, I don't think it slides. I see a hinge here, or it's bent, a little bent piece of plastic. I see a hinge here as well. Darn camera focus, right in there. Looks like there's some locking clips that stick out. I'll do it off camera. Odds are I'm just going to chop the cord off so it's out of my way, but I'm up for a challenge, temporarily at least. Normally with these kinds of strain relief you expect them just to slip up, but this one has little springy pins. Doesn't really make sense. Okay, I'm going to do this the destructive way, see how it works. Bend tabs to the point where I can just get this out. What a weird design. I still don't understand how this works. So it has springy clips to lock it into place, but it's this top cover here. So this strain relief doesn't appear to be integrated into the cord. How do I release it? I've never actually taken the time to look at these strain reliefs on one of these. So the hinge is on this side. This should flip open over towards me. That might be a locking clip of some sort, but I don't understand how this works. I think it's locking further down on the inside. Let's see here. It's probably bad for retention to try to figure out how this mechanism works, since this is really boring probably for some people, but I'm curious to see how to get that out. There we go. Alright, yes, so there's a little locking clip there. It locks down into it. It's kind of neat that this is a strain relief that you can assemble over a cable. how you install or remove this without destruction. I see the little locking clip there, so when that folds down, it locks into place. Also, it kind of smashes the cord and has it sit down into the little divot there. So you see how it's wavy where it was in the strain relief. I'm really curious here now though. Probably not going to be able to bend this back very close, if I can bend it back at all. What I don't understand, so this doesn't go in like that, but it can't go in like this because, oh, alright. So you clip it on, apparently, and then you shove it through like so until it locks into place. So it's... But how would you do that with the cord installed? That's weird. Now I'm curious. This is going to be like the majority of the video. So, strain relief squishes together like that. Obviously you can feed the cords through the gap. That's part of the gap. Oh, alright, yeah. So you feed the cords, dang it. You feed the cords down through the gap, get it past that one hinge, angle it in, and push it in until it locks into place. I'm not going to lock it into place just because I don't want to remove it. But, yeah, fascinating. Learn something new. And it would be reversible also. You just have to be able to squeeze these in far enough to be able to back it back out. But definitely not very serviceable now that I've taken the time to figure out the design. Like with most DVRs, the power supply is integrated into the board, presumably for cost-saving purposes. Can't really think of too many DVRs that I've tore apart where the power supply is a separate piece. Some of the mini ones I believe will run off external power supplies. There's that, but not a separate power supply board for the most part. This design's pretty much the same across most models. Alright, got a little locking clip there. It's not releasing. Let's do both of these. There we go. Faceplate with the light pipes, and then pass-throughs for the buttons. I think I got all the screws out of the board. Where am I missing? It's acting like I didn't get something. I think it's just catching. There's some minor like side clips in the housing. Yeah, see how this one is ever so slightly over the board, stopping me from sliding the board out. Just gotta lift up these metal tabs. That's kind of a clever design though. This hasn't been plugged in for quite a while, so I should be safe to carelessly touch it. You see the isolation on the power supply section, area where there's not copper. I would assume this whole bottom piece is ground plane, partially for grounding, but I would also assume for shielding purposes since this is RF stuff. And there's all these filter caps and stuff for part of the power regulation circuit. Transistor. Or no. Might not be a transistor. Diode symbol on it. It only has 2 leads connected. But yeah, various transformers. Got phone line protection circuitry here. And then it goes to, which way does the chip go? Got an ST microchip there. Main processor is also made by ST. It's an Omega STI 5517LWA. Some Hynix memory. A Broadcom chip here for the, that's the satellite in. Yeah, it's a satellite input chip there. Probably pop off this metal can, yeah. Another even smaller Broadcom chip inside. I suspect this chip here is flash storage potentially, or that one of the two, since there's already memory here. Otherwise I would assume that these are like DDR2 era memory. This is either probably SDRAM or DDR1, but I also think some of this is power circuitry to, I don't know, I was going to say to drive the satellite portion, but it doesn't look like any of the traces go that way. Wonky looking diode there. Big one. But I guess, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to see, so hopefully that was interesting, and thanks for watching.